You think you're good with money because you don't have credit card debt. You pay your bills on time, you avoid the big disasters, and you feel like you're doing just fine. But here is the hard truth. You are likely leaking hundreds of dollars every single month, money that's literally vanishing into thin air. I'm not talking about your rent or your mortgage. I'm talking about the silent killers, the subscriptions you haven't used in months, the convenience tax you pay to have food delivered to your door, the apps you signed up for once and forgot about. If you look at your bank statement right now, you'll probably find between $500 and $1,000 that you are effectively burning every single month. That is not just pocket change. That is $6,000 to $12,000 a year. That is a massive chunk of your future net worth being handed over to companies that are banking on your forgetfulness. You aren't struggling because you aren't earning enough. You are struggling because your financial account is leaking, and you haven't realized it yet. Today, we are going to stop the bleeding. This is the tactical guide to cleaning up your finances, hunting down these invisible vampires, and putting that money back into your pocket where it actually belongs. Let's get to work. To stop this financial bleeding, we have to start by mapping out exactly where your money's going. Most people think they know their expenses, but they're only looking at the big stuff, the rent, the car payment, the groceries. They're missing the invisible vampires draining their bank account one swipe at a time. I want you to pull up your bank statements from the last 3 months. Don't just look at the totals, look at the individual line items. You are going to find that your money is being siphoned off into 3 specific categories. First, let's talk about the subscription vampires. These are the services that keep your credit card information on file and bill you automatically, month after month, even when you haven't touched the service in half a year. It's Netflix, Spotify, Disney+, your cloud storage, that premium VPN, and the meditation app you downloaded once at 2 a.m. Individually, they feel small, maybe $10 or $15 a month, but collectively, they are a massive anchor. You aren't paying for the content, you're paying for the convenience of not having to sign up again. These companies rely on the fact that you're too busy or perhaps too lazy to cancel. They are betting on your inertia, and currently, they are winning. Second, we have the convenience tax. This is perhaps the most insidious category. Think about every time you order takeout on a delivery app, pay a platform fee, a service fee, a delivery fee, and then add a tip on top. By the time you sit down to eat, that $20 meal has effectively cost you $35. You're paying a premium just for the luxury of staying on your couch. And look, I'm not saying you shouldn't treat yourself, but when you do it 3 or 4 times a week, you aren't just buying food, you're buying back time that you didn't even need to save. That tax you pay on every single transaction is the difference between a savings account that grows and one that stays flat. Finally, there are the forgotten memberships. This is the gym membership you haven't used since New Year's, the wine club that ships bottles you never drink, or the professional software suites you signed up for during a project that finished 6 months ago. These are the worst offenders because they are completely invisible. You don't see a product in your house to remind you that you're paying for them. They just quietly disappear from your balance every month, like clockwork. I want you to be honest with yourself as you go through that statement. Every time you see a recurring charge, ask one simple question. If I didn't have this today, would I go out and buy it right now? If the answer is no, then you need to hit that cancel button immediately. The logic here is simple. Money doesn't just evaporate. It doesn't disappear into a black hole. It is being transferred from your wallet to someone else's treasury through the frictionless nature of digital payments. We have reached a point in our economy where spending money has become so easy that it has become subconscious. You don't even have to reach for your wallet anymore. You just have to click a button. And that convenience is exactly what is keeping you from building real, long-term wealth. By grouping your expenses into these 3 buckets, the subscriptions, the convenience tax, and the forgotten memberships, you start to see the pattern of your own behavior. You aren't broke because of some grand economic failure. You're struggling because you've made it too easy for companies to automate your poverty. So take this map, look at your own spending habits, and start the audit. It might feel tedious, and frankly, it might even feel a bit uncomfortable to see how much you've been throwing away. But this is the first step towards reclaiming control.
Once you identify these vampires, you can finally start starving them. And trust me, once you see that extra $500 or $1,000 staying in your account at the end of the month, you'll never look at a recurring payment the same way again. We've cleared the ground. Now let's talk about how to deal with the psychology behind why you're so tempted to click subscribe in the first place. Now here is the question that keeps me up at night. If these expenses are so small, $10 here, $15 there, why do we find it so agonizingly difficult to just cut them off? Why do we keep paying for things we don't use? It's not just about laziness, it's a psychological trap known as decision fatigue. You are living in a world that is designed to overwhelm your brain. From the moment you wake up, you are bombarded with hundreds of choices. What to eat, what to wear, how to reply to that email, which route to take to work. By the time you get home and stare at your bank app, your brain is effectively tapped out. You have zero willpower left to navigate a complicated cancellation process. And the companies know it. They are masters of the dark pattern. They make signing up for a service as easy as a single thumbprint scan, but they make canceling feel like you're trying to navigate a bureaucratic labyrinth. They hide the unsubscribe button behind 5 layers of menus, they throw "Are you sure?" prompts at you, and they offer you 1 month free just to keep you hooked for another cycle. They are betting on your fatigue. They're counting on the fact that you'd rather lose another $15 than spend 10 minutes fighting with a website. But here's the twist you need to own. That convenience you think you're buying, that isn't actually a service. That is the price you are paying with your financial future. Look, paying $10 for a monthly subscription isn't going to make you broke, let's be real. If you're earning a decent salary, $10 is nothing. But that's exactly the lie that traps you. It's not the $10, it's the habit of indifference. It's the constant low-level acceptance of financial waste. When you let these micro-leaks continue without blinking, you are telling your brain that you don't care about the details of your own life. And once you normalize that indifference, it bleeds into everything else. You stop questioning the bigger costs, the lifestyle upgrades, the unnecessary debt, the "just put it on the card" mentality. That indifference is the silent assassin of wealth. It kills your momentum. Financial freedom isn't built on a single massive heroic sacrifice. It's built on the accumulation of thousands of small, disciplined choices. When you allow these vampire costs to suck your account dry, you are essentially voting against your own future self every single day. You are saying, my current comfort for the next 10 minutes is worth more than my freedom 10 years from now. You need to shift your perspective. Every time you see a recurring charge for something you don't use, stop thinking about it as a small fee. Start thinking about it as a tax you are voluntarily paying to stay trapped in your current financial cycle. It is time to be ruthless. I'm not saying you should live a life of deprivation or stop enjoying the things you love. That's not what this is about. This is about making sure that every dollar leaving your account is a conscious decision, not an automated accident. You need to reclaim your agency. Stop being a passive subscriber and start being an active architect of your own money. If you want to reach that next level of financial security, you have to stop paying for things you don't value. It's that simple. It's time to stop the autopilot mode and take the wheel back. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to execute this cleanup so you can turn these savings into real compounding assets. Stay focused, because the process we are going to cover next is where the real math starts to work in your favor. Now that we have identified the vampires, it is time to move from theory to action. I want to give you a concrete 4-step tactical framework to clean house. This isn't about budgeting until your life feels miserable. It's about auditing your cash flow to ensure your money is working for you, not against you. Step 1 is the audit. You cannot fix what you do not measure. Sit down, literally with a cup of coffee and your bank statement, and go through every single transaction from the last 90 days. I want you to highlight every recurring payment in red. Don't look at the prices yet, just identify the frequency. If it happens every month, highlight it.
By the time you're done, you will have a clear visual representation of where your money is flowing on autopilot. Step 2 is the cut. This is where you get ruthless. Any service you haven't actively used at least twice in the last month, cut it. Delete the app, cancel the subscription. If you're paying for a premium streaming service that you haven't opened in 3 weeks, or a gym membership you've been ignoring because you've been doing home workouts, kill it. People are often afraid of canceling because they fear they might need it later. But here's the secret. If you actually need it again, you can resubscribe in 30 seconds. Keep the barrier to entry low, but keep the barrier to keeping the service high. Step 3 is the pause. If you're on the fence about a specific service, maybe a software suite or a specialized delivery box, don't cancel it yet, but pause it for 30 days. Remove the payment method or use a temporary freeze option. During those 30 days, see if your life actually changes. Most of the time, you will realize that you didn't even miss it. If you reach the end of the month and you haven't thought about it once, that's your answer. It was never providing value in the first place. Finally, step 4 is the most important: redirect. This is where you transform wasted capital into actual wealth. As soon as you cancel those subscriptions, I want you to take the exact amount of money you were previously paying and set up an automated transfer into an investment or high-yield account. If you were paying $50 total for 3 unused apps, set an automatic transfer of $50 to move into your brokerage account the day your paycheck lands. Don't let that money sit in your checking account because you will spend it elsewhere. You have to disappear the money from your spending vision. Think about the compounding effect of this. If you redirect $100 a month that you were previously wasting and you invest that into an index fund with an average 7 to 8% annual return, that isn't just savings. In 20 or 30 years, that small, seemingly insignificant amount of vampire money will have grown into tens of thousands of dollars. You aren't just cutting costs, you're building a second automated engine for your financial future. This is the power of compounding. When you stop leaking your wealth, you turn the tide. You stop being a passive consumer of other companies' products and start being an active investor in your own security. It takes an hour to do this audit, but the impact lasts for decades. Once you see the numbers change, you'll realize that the convenience you were buying was actually costing you your potential. You aren't just saving pennies, you're reclaiming your future. So do the audit, cut the noise, and redirect that capital. That's how you win this game. At the end of the day, remember this fundamental truth. Being wealthy isn't just about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep and how effectively you deploy those resources to serve your future. You can earn a massive salary, but if you allow invisible vampires to drain your account on autopilot, you will always be running on a treadmill that leads nowhere. The difference between those who truly build wealth and those who just look successful is the ability to master the small, boring, and often tedious details of their own cash flow. You've got the map and you've got the framework. Now it is time for the execution. But I want to hear from you. I want you to go through your statements right now and then come back here to the comments section. Tell me, what is the one service or subscription you just canceled that shocked you the most in terms of its price? What was that hidden leak that you didn't even realize was happening? I want to see those numbers because sharing them is how we hold each other accountable. If you're ready to take this seriously and stop the guesswork, I've put together a simple expense audit spreadsheet for you. You can find the link in the description below. Download it, plug in your numbers, and start taking ownership of your financial life today. It feels good, doesn't it? That sudden sense of clarity, that feeling of control. That is what winning looks like. It's not flashy and it doesn't happen overnight, but it is the only way to build a foundation that actually lasts. You've just taken the first step towards reclaiming your future. Don't let this momentum go to waste. Do the audit, cut the noise, and start redirecting that capital towards your own freedom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.